Hello, everybody. Welcome in. It's from the Bleachers, broadcasting live on the Fan Sports Network. Caden Floormaster, Mark Musgrave.
The voice you know.
We welcome you into the show today on this Monday.
Yeah,
Monday, man. It's
How was the weekend?
too short.
Yeah.
If you ask me, it was too short of a weekend.
I'm with you.
Yeah. It wasn't bad. I mean, we hung out on Sunday a little bit, Mark.
Yeah, we did. We went up to the Ledges, played a little bit of golf, and had a good time up there.
Yeah.
The course is in great shape. You can always give those guys a call up there at the Ledges. They'll get you on. Again, just a great friend of the station here, and great guys up there.
Yeah.
And gals, too. And gals.
Yeah, of course. Yep, it was good. Fun time, as always. So, yeah, it's but it's always good to be back in the swing of things as well.
Now, Saturday, talking about Saturday a little bit.
Yeah.
I went up I-15, me and Landon, up to Ogden at Lindquist Field, and we were able to Landon played in the All-Star game up there.
Yeah.
He was in the 12:30 game, thank goodness. He pitched pretty good. He pitched the third and the fourth innings. He did give up 2 runs, a few hits. Jager Baldwin from Crimson Cliffs was up there as well. He got a pretty good hit off of Lando. But they had a good time up there. I think Landon's team ended up losing, 4-2 or something like that.
So they had him playing against it. So how was it set up? Explain that.
It was a mix of I believe 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A, 6A, and they just mixed them all together.
So they just created their own rosters of everything.
It used to be, 4A versus 5A or 3A versus 4A, 5A versus 6A, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
The last couple of years, they've just kind of mixed them all together. So there's 5A players playing with 3A players, so on and so forth. So that's how they did it. It was interesting. The 4A Region 10 players, so our players down here, they were kind of mixed up. So like on Landon's team, the Desert Hills team that he was on, that included Snow Canyon, Desert Hills. Nobody from Snow Canyon went up. Desert Hills, probably Hurricane and Cedar, I would imagine. But again, none of those players showed up. On the other side, it was a mix of some other teams, but plus Crimson, Dixie, and Pineview. And there were some Pineview players up there along with Jager Baldwin from Crimson Cliffs were on the opposing team. And it was a lot of fun. Lindquist Field, if you've never been there, it was a pretty cool field. It kind of got me going a little bit because being a Dodger fan,
Mm-hmm.
the Ogden Raptors used to be part of the Dodger organization. And so as you're walking in, they have these big banners of players that have played there. Players like Cody Bellinger, D. Gordon, Corey Seager, Jock Peterson. All those players played at some point with the Ogden Raptors up at Lindquist Field. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's
That
crazy.
was pretty cool that Landon got to play on the same field as some of his favorite players and, some of his dad's favorite players too. So
right.
that was pretty cool. I just sat there and enjoyed the view. I had a great view of the mountains up behind Ogden. The Ogden Temple was also in the background, and then the big American flag was blowing as well. So it was a really cool day. And then on the way back, since he had the 12:30 game, we were on the road by 2:30, 3 o'clock.
Oh, yeah, you guys are getting back home early, yeah.
Yeah, well, we would have, but we stopped in Fillmore and played Paradise Golf right there in Fillmore, and it's a cool little course.
Yeah, and they just have the one course that's right there off
Yeah.
the freeway,
Yep.
and it's one of those where you drive by it all the time. And if you're like me, I've never played it, but I'm sure a lot of other people are probably in the boat as me.
Yeah.
Same boat as me, where it's like, I drive by it all the time. I see it's there, and I'm like, that looks like it would be a fun little course to play.
It's a fun
I've just
little
never
course.
done it. I
Yeah,
just need
no.
to stop by and do it one of these days.
And that's what you need to do is just, as you're driving, just stop and do it. Take an hour and a half. We played it, seriously. Me and Landon played it in an hour and 15 minutes. That's as long as a time as, you're stopping and getting fuel. Maybe you sit down at that Costa Vida down there as well and have some lunch. I mean, that's about how long it's going to take you to play it. It's a short course.
Yeah.
And
did you walk on? Were you able to just say, hey, you guys call in and say, you guys got a spot?
I called as we were leaving Ogden. So that gave us about 2+ hours.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, we were going up over that pass right there. And the weather was crazy. I mean, there was lightning going across the sky and wind and rain. And it was just raining buckets at times. Like, it was raining so hard at times. The truckers and some other people were pulling over.
Really?
That's how hard it was raining. Yeah. And so about 20 minutes, maybe 15 to 20 miles before we got to Fillmore, I actually called and canceled the tee time. I was like, there's no way we're playing in this weather.
So you're like, I don't know if we're going to make it, guys.
It was so weird. But we went up over the pass, and then on the other side of that pass right there, blue sky, no wind. And so we just drove to the clubhouse there, said, hey, I called and had a tee time, and then I canceled it because the weather was so bad just 20 miles up the road. And she's just laughing. She goes, that happens actually quite a bit.
Yeah.
So I said, can we still get out? And she said, yes, absolutely. So she puts us out. But the weather was just so weird.
Over on the Scipio side of the mountains. It was not good, huh?
Yeah. It was raining so hard the truckers and stuff were pulling over.
Yeah.
That's how those guys don't pull over for much.
No, they'll pull over with the bad weather, but it has to be bad weather.
It has to be bad weather.
To be bad weather.
It was crazy.
Huh. Yeah, that's interesting.
But anyways, we had a good time. And hey, today, I don't know, it's not on camera here, but let's go ahead and get this thing on camera.
Yeah, bring it into your shot there. By the way, if you aren't or didn't know by now, you can watch our show on YouTube.
And right now,
Mark's got a little toy there or something, huh?
Yeah, it's
a little big one.
It's the Mayor's Cup. Now, Washington City, they have held the Mayor's Cup. I believe I heard today it was 13 years.
Really?
Okay.
All right.
And it also benefits let's see, what food place is it? Not food place, but like they donate food to the food bank.
Oh, okay.
And so golfers will take cases of food, donate it. And so it turns out, I've seen Mayor Kenny Nelson's truck just loaded, like almost popping a wheelie. He's had so much food in the back of his truck. That was a few years ago. I think they've changed it around how they get that food there now a little bit. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It's always been a great tournament to be a part of. And I was on a team of, some ringers. I just kind of rode the coattails of those guys. They were really good. We had Andy from New Wave Construction Pools, Spencer from up here at the Tee Box. That's always somebody to get on your team.
Yeah.
And then Devin Dixon from the Drive here on the morning show on the Fan Sports Network. So I just kind of rode along and entertained the other three with some comments and things like that. But it was a lot of fun, man. It was a lot of fun.
That's one way to do it.
The Mayor's
congrats on the win.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, like I said, I didn't do much, but I was there. And
you were the moral support. You're keeping everyone loose.
And even the guy that sits, the 12th guy on at the end of the bench, if they win the NBA championship, they get a ring.
It's true.
And that's kind of where I took place. That's kind of how I, was today. I didn't do much, but I still get the recognition.
Yeah, that's how you do it. That's how you do it. That's smart. I like it.
Anyways, it was a lot of
fun. Hey, well, speaking of golf, we are still taking signups for the Utah State Long Drive Championship. Head on over to the fansportsnetwork.com where you can go and get your registration form. So if you want to sign up for that, there's 10 different categories. So if you're thinking it's just everyone against everyone and you don't know if you can compete, well, there are different categories.
Yep.
There's even just as simple as a men's amateur and a men's pro, but then there's also aged categories as well. They have categories for kids. They have women's categories. They have a little bit of everything. So, go over to the fansportsnetwork.com, get signed up for the long drive competition. There's also a hole-in-one shootout, which is pretty cool. Big prizes for that. And then on Saturday, they're also doing a scramble. So if you're like, hey, long drive isn't my thing, but you want to participate, this supports Desert Hills High School and their golf team. So if you want to be a part of that and help support them, you can be a part of the 4-man scramble on Saturday morning. It's a $400 fee for the group. So just you and some buddies, split it 4 ways. There you go. And sign up for the scramble. So I know there's still spots available for both the long drive and the scramble right now. And that's this weekend. So if you want to get signed up for it, you're not doing anything this weekend, sign on up and head on over and participate.
You'll probably see me and Caden out there too.
Yeah. Devin was telling me today, and I haven't even had a chance to talk to you about this. So this is a live on air thing. He's like, you guys should do your show from out there on Friday.
Oh.
And I was like, I don't know why we wouldn't.
Why wouldn't we?
So we'll probably be out there on Friday. Maybe we'll be over at Coral Canyon on Friday.
Yeah, why wouldn't we, dude?
So
seriously.
Yeah, I told him, I said, I don't think Mark's going to oppose that at all.
No.
So anytime we can get out of the studio, we're happy to do so.
The show just seems to go so much quicker.
Oh, yeah.
When we are remote, whether we're down at Eureka Casino Resort, at William Hill Sportsbook, or whether we go to basketball games. Remember last year we did our show from Utah Tech baseball.
Yeah, yep. That was a fun one.
And got hit by a foul ball, and
it was like 3 feet away.
Thank goodness technology wasn't working for us at the time, because I said a bad word as that foul ball was coming.
Our internet cut out right as Mark was.
I said,
"Oh, darn it!"
Well, we have expensive equipment laying around, man.
Yeah, I was ready to catch it. I was like, "Bring it! I want to catch this foul ball." It didn't happen. It was about 3 feet from the table, though. It landed very close.
Yeah, but we have a lot to talk about. A lot happened over the weekend as far as pro sports go, like MLB. The Yankees-Dodgers had a great series. Yankees winning them 2 out of 3. We'll talk about the Aaron Judge home run, or
the wall-breaking catch.
The wall-breaking catch. I'm going to talk about him and Charlie Steiner's call from the Dodgers. I was listening to that on the way down. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but and then Miami Heat. Everybody keeps counting them out. What do? They keep proving people wrong.
They tied up the series 1-1.
Man.
Denver had a chance to come back, too. Well, Denver was leading at half. Miami goes on big runs, but then Denver goes on a run late. Just wasn't enough to get the win. That's been an interesting series so far, because game one was like, okay, this is all Denver.
Yes. Yeah.
Miami's got some fight. I will say Denver looks like the better team. No question. Even after that game, Miami won. Denver still looks like the better team. But Miami's got fight. And I will say that. Miami's got fight.
I think Miami, not that they're listening to our radio show, but they love hearing this kind of stuff, I think. I'd love...
Well, it's everywhere. It's not just us.
No,
that's
what I'm saying.
Every sports show in America.
Absolutely. Like I say, they're not listening to our show, but we're echoing pretty much what everybody else is saying is Denver wins it in 5. Some people had it Denver winning in 4. That's not happening now. But nobody's giving Miami credit, and they haven't from the opening round of the playoffs, but yet they still keep proving people wrong. I think they love to play with that chip on their shoulder.
Yeah.
And they're playing some really good basketball with that chip on their shoulder, no question about it.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been a really good series.
We'll talk more about that series coming up a little bit later. But
talk about Vegas Golden Knights as well. They got game 2 going on tonight, so that's been so far so good for the Knights. Florida got off to the early 1-0 lead, but then it was just kind of all Vegas all the way, and they were able to bring it on back and take home win number 1. So so Vegas fans, if you're a Golden Knights fan, which I know we got a lot here in Southern Utah that are Golden Knights fans, this is our year. This is our year.
I think it is.
So I'm excited.
I think it is.
I'm way excited. As a person that I consider myself a Golden Knights fan as well, and I know I don't follow hockey as close as I follow other sports.
I'm the same way.
I follow it enough that I'm really excited.
I'm a casual fan. I'll admit it. I do get excited when the Knights are in the playoffs and especially in the finals. My interest certainly goes up. I'm a casual fan. I wish I was more of a real fan.
Yeah.
I'm a casual fan for right now. I'm sure that will grow and that I'll get more interested in it for sure. But I'm not going to try to pretend that I'm something that I'm not. I'm a casual fan, but my interest definitely peaks when the Knights get this far.
Right.
For
Same.
sure.
Same.
Love it.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff. So
Also, too, another thing we'll talk about in a little bit. Have you heard of the player in the NFL? Well, is it from your team? I don't know. But a player getting investigated for gambling.
ooh, another one.
Is
It happens a lot.
Maybe it's from your team. Maybe it's not. But we'll talk about that here in a little bit, too.
All right. Yeah, so much going on. Man, busy show, it seems like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It seems busy, but then at the same time, you think about it, really, we're talking about 2 games. And, it seems like it's a lot because it's the finals. Finals are big. We got to get into the finals for all these sports. But, MLB's in the thick of it, too.
Yeah.
So there's always a lot of baseball to cover. As well as, like you mentioned, there's off-season stuff. Sometimes the off-season stuff is just as interesting as everything else.
Oh, I think especially for the NFL.
Yeah, especially for the NFL. So let's tell you what, let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to dive into a bunch of this stuff. So stick around with us here on From the Bleachers on the Fan Sports Network.
Did you know that St. George News has a new app? Download the St. George News app today and stay up to date on everything happening in Southern Utah. Get instant notifications on news, weather, sports, and more. Download the app today and get your local news now.
Hey, it's Sheldon Demke. Check out the latest episode of What's on the Menu, a behind-the-scenes tour of local restaurants. We'll see some of their favorite dishes and get an inside look on how these dishes are prepared. Check out this week's episode at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab.
As a local business owner, it's important to get the word out about your business. More people equals more revenue for you. Get your business in front of over 160,000 people in Southern Utah each week with St. George News. Contact St. George News today.
Media is everywhere. It's a part of our daily life, our routine, not just for entertainment, but to stay informed. Local media has the biggest impact on your daily life. It's what's around you, what matters. And at Canyon Media, our goal is to deliver the very best in local entertainment, news, and media. From our award-winning radio stations like 99.9 Coney Country to Southern Utah's #1 source for local news, St. George News, we believe in delivering free, fast, and accurate local news, entertainment, and information to all of Southern Utah through our entertaining on-air personalities and music, compelling local shows, and community events like the City of St. George 4th of July celebration and charitable events like Coney Corns for Kids. From our entire team of dedicated designers, videographers, salespeople, digital marketers, writers, and on-air talent, thank you for letting us be a part of your daily life. Canyon Media, here for you.
Check out this week's edition of TGIF on stgeorgenews.com. TGIF is your weekend adventure guide to all the fun and exciting things going on in Southern Utah this weekend. Find this week's edition at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab. Have a blast this weekend.
Hey, it's Caden Formaster.
And Mark Musgrave, the voice you know with the Fan Sports Network.
Check out our local sports radio show From the Bleachers live every weekday from 4 to 6 p.m.
Listen to us on the radio on 99.5 or 95.3 FM.
You can also listen through the Fan Sports Network app or watch the show live on the Fan Sports Network YouTube page.
The Fan Sports Network is your home of Utah Tech Trailblazers, high school sports, and the pros.
The Fan Sports Network, Southern Utah's home for local sports. Welcome back in, everybody. It is From the Bleachers. Caden Formaster, Mark Musgrave.
The voice you know.
And we welcome you back in here to the Findlay Hyundai studio. Today, I have to make mention of this because our old friend Nikki, who friend of the show, works with Findlay Hyundai as well.
Mm-hmm.
She's a big Braves fan. She got to go down to Arizona, and I hope she's listening. I'm giving her the shout out, where the Braves were playing the Diamondbacks. Now, did you see the grand slam in the top of the ninth that put them on top to eventually win that game against the Diamondbacks?
I did not see that. No,
it was beautiful. It's beautiful baseball. I love a good grand slam, and especially when it's in the ninth inning.
I love a good grand slam too from Denny's.
I love a good Denny's grand slam as well. Yeah, that's a good time.
Was Nikki at the game?
Yeah, she was at the game, and I don't know if she was at that one or if she was at one of the other ones earlier in the week.
I've been on a good run lately of Dodger games that I've attended. Like, was it 2 years ago that we attended the 22-1 game, and that was so dang much fun. Last year, Lana and I attended a pretty good game too. But normally, like over the past years that I've gone to the Dodger game, the Saturday night game has been a bore or the Dodgers lost. But yet the game before, it was a walk-off, and then on the Sunday game, maybe that was a walk-off or a great game. And it's like, okay, the game that I watched was a bore or the Dodgers lost. But lately I've done a lot better, though.
Yeah, it's been better.
A lot better. Now, speaking of Saturday games.
Okay.
Saturday, I'm listening to the Dodgers-Yankees coming down the freeway, coming home from, being up north.
Yeah.
And listening to Charlie Steiner. The great Charlie Steiner. He does such a great job doing play-by-play. He was on ESPN for a long time as well, but he's one of the Dodgers voices right now. And listening to the call of the Aaron Judge catch in right field against Martinez, I believe it was.
Yeah.
It made it sound like it was the greatest catch you will ever see. Now, we've got the call. I'm going to have Katie play that, and then I'll give you my thoughts after, even though I've kind of teased it already.
All right. Well, here's the call. Let's take a listen and take a look.
Here's a 2-2. Fly ball, right field and deep. Judge going back to the wall, crashes into the bullpen gate, makes a spectacular catch. I mean, talk about bursting through the gates, somehow held on to the ball. He's okay. Running out just to make sure is Aaron Boone. His franchise player makes a spectacular catch.
It's a good call.
It was a good call. Now I'm listening now. That's the great thing about radio. I still love listening to baseball on the radio, play-by-play. I absolutely love it because I'm able to visualize things. But the way Charlie described that, I was picturing Aaron Judge, catching the ball simultaneously, crashing through the gates of the bullpen, and anyway, I just had a different vision in my head with his call. And I'm not saying that it wasn't a good catch. It was a good catch. But Charlie Steiner.
He made it sound like a bowling ball just knocking it all over you.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see this. And then when I did see the replay, I was like, really? That is not how I visualized it. Again, I don't want to take away the catch. It was a good catch.
Yeah.
But he catches that ball, takes about 2 steps, and then crashes into the gate, and the gate kind of pops open, and he does put 2 feet up on the bullpen floor, but which gave Max Muncy the base because he was awarded the base. I guess when you leave the field of play as a defender, if there's runners on base, they're awarded the next base.
So if like someone goes diving over a railing into the into the stands.
The only place that's not that doesn't take place is the dugout.
If you run into a dugout,
if you run into a dugout to make a catch. But since those gates kind of popped open and both feet went up onto the bullpen, Max Muncy was awarded second base. But and that's the way that it kind of went. I mean, he catches the ball, boom, boom, takes 2 steps. hits into the gate. The gates kind of pop open, and he kind of went up as well. Anyway, Charlie Steiner, you did a great job making that call, but I thought you just kind of hyped it up a little bit more than it really was.
That's fair.
I mean, when you saw that catch up there, and we had it for our YouTube viewers, but when you saw that catch up there, Caden, I mean, were you like, oh my gosh, that's the greatest catch I've ever seen?
I mean, it was a good catch. I wouldn't say it's the greatest catch.
No.
I mean, I'd rather see someone go and rob a catch. Like, the catch itself was fine. Had the wall held up, it was a normal catch.
Yeah, exactly.
The only thing was the wall didn't hold up.
Right. Yeah, and the gates popped open.
Had it held up, we would have just been like, oh, good chase down by Judge. You know, it was a good catch. Nothing spectacular.
And then I have to throw this out there too. So apparently, this is what kills me with the current athletes. And again, I think Aaron Judge is a beast.
Sure.
He is a great athlete. He's 6'6", 280 pounds, and can move, and very athletic. Okay,
Yeah,
he's a beast. He's a beast. But I heard this on Sunday as I was listening to the call on Sunday. He wasn't in the lineup on Sunday's call or Sunday's game because on that play he stubbed his toe. Yeah, he stubbed his toe. So he wasn't in Sunday's game.
Dang, those stubbed toes,
I
man.
mean, come on.
Takes you out
and
of
here's the thing. And again, I'm going to go from one extreme to the other. Not everybody's Cal Ripken Jr., who played 2,700 games consecutive. And I don't expect people to do that, athletes. But it was just kind of funny. It's just like, man, you wouldn't have seen an 80s or a 90s or even a 2000s player, and I'm going to throw 50s, 60s in there as well. You just wouldn't have seen an athlete from a different time take a day off for a stubbed toe. Just wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
I mean, it would just, when they described it, he's sitting out because on that catch that he had yesterday, he stubbed his toe.
You had guys
just like, come on.
You would have guys in that situation where it's like, oh, by the way, the fence cut him up. He had to go get 20 stitches, and here he is up to bat the next day. Here we go,
I mean, Ronnie Lott cut off a fingertip, so he could continue to play for the San Francisco 49ers in a game. Come on.
Yeah. It's a different time.
It's
a different time.
It is definitely a different time, but a guy from my generation, we just always kind of snicker.
You just shake your head
when we hear things like that a little bit. He's not in the lineup because he stubbed his toe.
Yeah.
Come on.
Those dang stubbed toes. They'll
Come
get you.
on, Judge. And I really do like Aaron Judge, though. He is a beast. The Yankees beat the Dodgers 2 games out of 3, but he's a beast.
Yeah.
He is the real deal. The Judge will be around for a long, long time wearing a Yankee pinstripes.
Yeah.
And he will go down as one of the greatest Yankees ever. I mean,
oh, sure.
He will go down in conversations with Babe Ruth.
Yeah.
Lou Gehrig, Derek Jeter.
Mm-hmm.
Derek Jeter, is interesting. We talked about him about a little bit last week.
Yeah.
Where his stats were okay. They were all-star stats. Yeah. Most years, they were all-star stats. But just the little things that Derek Jeter did in a baseball game just elevated him to superstar status.
Yeah.
I mean, but if you go back and you look at Derek Jeter's career numbers, or even just pulled out some years and just looked at them, they're good, but they're not superstar all-time Yankee great stats. But he just did the little things all the time, and that's what made him so good. And it didn't hurt that he's wearing pinstripes playing shortstop. But anyways, Derek Jeter, but he'll go down with all those great Yankee greats.
Yeah, it also helps that he won World Series
for sure.
Well.
No question about it. Because I still feel Don Mattingly is one of the greatest Yankees of all time. you don't hear his name a lot in that conversation because in the 80s, they didn't win.
Yeah, you just have to. Yeah, you got to win
They didn't win.
championships, and that's one thing right now with Aaron Judge. He's good, but they haven't won championships. I'd say
Correct.
I'd say you throw in Stanton in there as well as someone who I feel like at some points in his career is sitting with the potential to be a great Yankee, like one of the great Yankees. But until they start winning championships, then it's like, you know what? He's good.
Yeah,
he's good. I would still put Aaron Judge way ahead of him. But
right.
But does he have enough to be a great Yankee? Maybe kind of A-Rod, right? A-Rod's one of those where it's like he's always been really great, but is he one of like the great Yankees? Yankees have a big organization, a lot of history, so it's tough. It's really tough.
Is.
You could be a good Yankee, but are you a great Yankee?
Right, right. And so how I have kind of fallen in love with Chat GPT.
Oh yeah.
So I just pulled up, and I do have some stuff for you later that I've previously worked on.
We'll get to that in the next segment.
Yeah, but I just Chat GPT'd the greatest Yankees of all time.
All right, let's see.
Well, go ahead. You tell me who you think's on this list.
I'm going to start naming some off.
There's only 6.
Okay, it only gave you 6.
Just gave me 6.
Is Aaron Judge on that list?
Aaron Judge is not on that list.
That's not surprising because he's still current. Derek Jeter should be there.
Derek Jeter is number 5.
Okay. You mentioned Babe Ruth already.
Mm-hmm. Babe Ruth was number 1.
Lou Gehrig.
Lou Gehrig is number 2.
Is A-Rod on there?
No, A-Rod is not on there.
I'm going to say he should not be there.
There is somebody from that team, though, that played with Derek Jeter. And
is it a pitcher?
It is, yes.
I can see his face slip in my mind. You're going to have to give it to me.
He would come in the 9th inning, pretty much close the door.
He was a reliever.
Mariano Rivera.
There you go. I was like, man, I can't think of his name to save my life.
There's 2 big ones that you're missing, and you'll be. If I told you, you're going to hate me if I told you.
I know you're going to say them. I can't think of anything off the top of my head right now. You're just going to have to. Here, give me an initial.
Okay. One of them starts with an M.
An M. The first thought that came to my head wasn't a Yankee.
M for Mickey.
Oh, Mantle.
Okay.
Yeah. Of course.
And the other one is known as the Yankee Clipper.
I don't know if I know that nickname.
No?
No.
He played from the Yankees from 1936 to 1951. He was the center fielder. He also had a 56-game hitting streak.
That is a crazy hitting streak.
Joe DiMaggio.
Joe DiMaggio.
Yep.
Also married to Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, that could have been a hint there as well.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's what Chat GPT says, the greatest Yankees of all time. I didn't put top 10. I just said greatest Yankees of all time. It gave me 6 of them.
Yeah. Well, those are all greats. Yeah. Those all deserve to be on that list.
But, I'm with you. If I did 10, like I said, I still think Don Mattingly is one of the greatest hitters to ever play, and in pinstripes as well. A-Rod's probably going to be on that list too if you strengthened it out, lengthened it out to 10. But Willie Randolph was another one. Just thinking of those older Yankee teams, those 70. Reggie Jackson. Oh my God.
Wow, Reggie Jackson.
I
love Reggie Jackson.
Reggie Jackson was great. Mr. October. And there's other players too, but that's
his post baseball career.
Yeah.
He started getting into some movies and stuff. And I always thought he was just so much fun.
Yeah.
Like he just seemed like a fun guy. Did you ever watch The Benchwarmers?
It's been a long time.
It's an old. It's not Adam Sandler, but it's it's his production company. Rob Schneider was in it. David Spade
was in it. Yeah.
But anyways, Reggie Jackson is in it for a little bit. And,
and
he's so funny in that movie. Where I'm like, hey, dude's got some acting chops. He was pretty good in it. I liked it.
That's pretty good.
Anyways, it was a fun time.
Anyways,
yeah. Well, I was gonna say let's kind of dive in, change gears a little bit. Let's get back to, we were kind of talking about the finals. So let's kind of get into some of the final stuff going on right now between Miami and Denver, with now game 2 wrapped up. The series is even. They're heading to Miami. Miami did what they needed to do, which was go to Denver and get a win, which they haven't done, by the way, in years.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's East Coast, West Coast. They only play in Denver once a year, but Denver's closed them out for years. It's the first time they've won in Denver in a long time. But if you think about it this way, this is their third game in Denver this season, and they were 2 for 3, or 2 out of 3, right?
Mm-hmm. So,
yes, they did get the one, but it took a little bit of time. Denver is, in my opinion, still the better team. Like, if I were to put money on it now with the series tied at 1-1, I still think Denver wins this series. But Miami is showing grit. They're showing heart. They're showing that they're ready to show up and to play some ball. What will it look like when they go to Miami and they're playing it in front of their fans in their home court? Is it going to be different? Can Denver go and steal a win and at least keep this series tied up 2-2, bringing it back to Denver for Game 5?
So Miami, they kind of went old school a little bit. Kind of like Detroit Pistons, Boston Celtics, how they would play Michael Jordan. So that the great players, they're going to get their points, okay? So what Denver did was they what Miami did is they let Jokic kind of take his shots, but they weren't letting anybody else really get their shots off. Aaron Gordon had 12. Jamal Murray had 18. Bruce Brown had 11. Michael Porter Jr. only had 2. So they held a lot of the other scorers down. They let Jokic get his shots, and he probably averaged 10 more points than he normally does. But he was really the only one that got going on that team. And that's how some of the teams would play Jordan back in the day. They're like, you know what? MJ's going to get his points. Let's not let Horace Grant get 28 points and 10 rebounds. And let's not let Scottie Pippen score 33 and have 12 assists. So they kind of shut those other guys down. MJ still got his points, but shut the other guys down. That's kind of what Miami did against the great Jokic last night, was they let him get his points. 41 points for the big man.
Yeah, which is good.
Which is fantastic.
That's really good.
But apparently
it's not winning you the game.
It's not winning you the game. And I think I saw a stat earlier today that the Nuggets, don't quote me on this, I just know it wasn't very good. I think it said 0 for 6 when he scores 40 or more points. Jokic. I think that's what it was.
I haven't seen that.
Whatever stat it wasn't good for Denver.
No, and it's putting the whole entire team on your back. It means your team's not doing what they need to do, and so they're working through you, right? And if you look at Jokic, though, we talked about he needs to average a triple-double, and I still stand by that. I think he does need to get close to averaging a triple-double. He's one of the best sightseeing centers, I'll call him. One of the best centers who can just see the floor in the league. He had 4 assists.
Yeah, see, that's the thing.
You can't win a game with your your guy that should be getting a triple-double, getting only 4 assists.
The ball is going through Jokic. So, yes, I'm with you 100%, Caden, is that he needs to get close. He needs to be between 8 and 12 assists a game for them to be successful. I think he needs to get those numbers more so than the 41 points.
100%.
And I think Denver would agree to this too, especially with their record when he scores 40 or more points. They would much rather see him at 30, 12, and 10.
Sure.
30 points, 12 assists, and 10 rebounds rather than 41 points and only 4 assists. More balanced scoring from Miami.
Yeah.
Miami, Jimmy Butler, 21. Bam, 21. Max Strus, 14. Gabe Vincent, 23. They had much more balanced scoring. Duncan Robinson, 10. Than the Nuggets did.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, again, Miami just playing with that chip on their shoulder, though, man. This could go down. This could go down as one of the biggest upsets ever in NBA Finals history. Not that Miami beats Denver. Yes, that would be
the
huge.
An upset.
But just the route and the road that Miami took to not just get there, but then to possibly beat Denver too.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Well,
incredible.
It's not like they were an 8th seed that beat the 1st seed and then they moved on because the 7th seed also beat the 2nd seed. And so now they just have to go beat a 7th seed and whatever. It's like, no, they take down number 1, they take down number 2. They just go in there, they're taking down everybody.
Yeah.
They take down everyone that stands in their way. They're taking down number 1, they're taking down number 2, they're taking down number 3, right? And now they're facing a number 1 again. And doing a pretty decent job. They're holding their own.
Hey, they're 1-1. And if you'd have asked anybody on Miami what your goal is with the first 2 games in Denver, 10 out of 10 of them would say, hey, we're just looking to get a split.
Looking to get one.
Just looking to get one. I kind of thought it would be the first one if they were going to steal one in Denver. We talked about that on the show. Obviously, I was wrong again.
It's okay.
But
they still stole the one.
But they still did get one, and that's what they needed to do.
Well, and you look at some of the team stats, and there's one that's really telling to me. It's 3-pointers.
Mm-hmm.
Denver shot 28 and made 11, 39%. The Heat shot 35 and made 17 for 48%.
Almost 40.
48.6%.
Almost 49. That is
it's a difference. That's a big difference in 3-point shooting. They just got more shots off in general. Mm-hmm. You look at their field goal percentage, and they had a few more field goals as well. Free throws is pretty similar. So free throws wasn't really actually that big of a factor in this one. It really was 3-pointers.
It really was 3-pointers.
When it comes to the scoring, it was 3-pointers. They let them shoot.
My goodness, almost 50% from beyond the arc.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
50% on 35 attempts.
Yeah, it's not like they shot 2 and they made 1.
Yeah.
Or 3. Yeah.
That number is so much harder to hold on to. Like, you can expect they're going to be in the high 30s.
Mm-hmm.
Denver at 39 is still fine. You want to be close to that 40. 40%'s decent. Denver's right there. That's decent. But 48% on 35, I don't know if they're going to have another shooting night like they had in game 2. And that might have just been their saving grace to at least get a win in this series. If they can continue to shoot as well as they have, then they have a decent shot.
It was funny, and we talked about this last week on the show as well, just the difference, the different kind of basketball that's played from the 80s to the 90s to the 2000s to now. Like, I pulled up a Boston Celtics, Los Angeles Lakers
from their series.
From the finals back in like 86 or something. And I think they both took around.
It was like
7 each.
Yeah,
7
it was
maybe. 5 to 7.
Yeah.
That was for each team. And then, it'd go another 10 years and it went up to about maybe 13 to 15. Like, I think I pulled maybe it was the Lakers Bulls or Bulls somebody, a little bit more, and then went into the 2000s, and they were getting up around 17 to 20 a game, and now here we are, we're talking 35 to 40 3-pointer attempts.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's just a much different game now.
It's so different.
It's crazy.
So different. But yeah, it's a tied up series, so we'll see what happens as they get back into Miami. Hey, having fun?
Yeah.
Our radio listeners are like, "What are you doing?"
It's like
Mark's over there holding his trophy. If you didn't hear, Mark got a trophy today for the Mayor's
holding
golf
up
tournament.
The NBA Finals, the Larry O'Brien trophy, right here.
It's a big trophy.
It actually reminds me of the Stanley Cup.
It's a large trophy.
I was actually going to drink out of it, and I sprayed some cleaner in there, and I started to wipe it out, and I pulled out the paper towels.
And it was very dirty.
I'm like, there's no way I'm going to drink out of this.
That's not a good idea.
And I am not a germaphobe, but there was no way I was going to drink out of this thing.
Don't blame me on that one bit. Don't blame me on that one bit. All right, we got to take a break. More coming up next. Stick around with us here on From the Bleachers.
Did you know that St. George News has a new app? Download the St. George News app today and stay up to date on everything happening in Southern Utah. Get instant notifications on news, weather, sports, and more. Download the app today and get your local news now.
Hey, it's Sheldon Demke. Check out the latest episode of What's on the Menu, a behind-the-scenes tour of local restaurants. We'll see some of their favorite dishes and get an inside look on how these dishes are prepared. Check out this week's episode at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab.
As a local business owner, it's important to get the word out about your business. More people equals more revenue for you. Get your business in front of over 160,000 people in southern Utah each week with St. George News. Contact St. George News today.
Media is everywhere. It's a part of our daily life, our routine, not just for entertainment, but to stay informed. Local media has the biggest impact on your daily life. It's what's around you, what matters. And at Canyon Media, our goal is to deliver the very best in local entertainment, news, and media. From our award-winning radio stations like 99.9 Coney Country to Southern Utah's #1 source for local news, St. George News, we believe in delivering free, fast, and accurate local news, entertainment, and information to all of Southern Utah through our entertaining on-air personalities and music, compelling local shows, and community events like the City of St. George 4th of July celebration and charitable events like Coney Coins for Kids. From our entire team of dedicated designers, videographers, salespeople, digital marketers, writers, and on-air talent, thank you for letting us be a part of your daily life. Canyon Media, here for you.
Check out this week's edition of TGIF on stgeorgenews.com. TGIF is your weekend adventure guide to all the fun and exciting things going on in southern Utah this weekend. Find this week's edition at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab. Have a blast this weekend.
Hey, it's Caden Formaster.
And Mark Musgrave, the voice you know with the Fan Sports Network.
Check out our local sports radio show From the Bleachers live every weekday from 4 to 6 p.m.
Listen to us on the radio on 99.5 or 95.3 FM.
You can also listen through the Fan Sports Network app or watch the show live on the Fan Sports Network YouTube page.
The Fan Sports Network is your home of Utah Tech Trailblazers, high school sports, and the pros.
The Fan Sports Network, Southern Utah's home for local sports.
Welcome back in, everybody. It's From the Bleachers here on the Fan Sports Network. Caden Formaster, Mark Musgrave.
The voice you know.
All right, Mark, I know you've got something that you were talking to me about earlier today.
Yeah.
Earlier in the show, you were talking about a gambling thing going on in the NFL.
Yeah, there's a Colts player, and that player is not named. So we don't know who this is yet, but there's being a Colts player is being investigated for betting, and he included betting wagers on his own team.
Okay,
and
that's never good.
This is per Daniel Chapkin of SI.com. He kind of broke the story. And Mark Rybaltowski also
good enough for me.
Kind of broke the story as well. But yeah, so there's evidence that that has this player he placed some bets on Indianapolis. Most of these betting wagers happened during the 2022 season, so just last year. So we're going to definitely keep an eye on that. Now, remember, I'm kind of looking through here. The NFL recently has suspended 5 players for violating the league's gambling policy, 3 of whom were suspended indefinitely, while 2 players were given 6-game suspension. Of those 5 players, 4 were the Lions, came from the great Detroit Lions, and the team released 3 of them in the weeks after the report. Only Jamison Williams remains on the team to serve his 6-game suspension. Commanders defensive lineman Shaka Toney was also suspended indefinitely. He does remain on the Washington roster, And then also probably the most well-known player that has been busted for this, wide receiver Calvin Ridley last year for the Falcons, traded midseason to the Jags. So, but he was reinstated in the offseason. So the NFL is taking this pretty seriously. You know, you're getting a minimum of 6-game suspension, possibly suspensions that are indefinite length in time.
Yeah, and that's never fun.
So you need to be careful out there.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this gambling stuff? Like, if you have a player bet or place a wager on, say it's just your team to win, just outright win, not points, not anything else, but just to win, do you see a problem with that?
If it's for your own team, I don't. I personally don't. I don't know.
It's just careful because, you know, it's as far as betting on your team, and that's why I kind of phrased that question, just betting on your team to win.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that. The problem comes when you are betting the over-under.
Yeah.
I mean, if, you know, whether you, I don't know how you can affect, you know, certainly basketball more so too, but, you know, how an offensive lineman can affect the score of the game.
Right.
Yeah, it can happen. So when you do that kind of betting, yes, that's when it gets really, really slippery.
Right.
Really
and that's
slippery.
the thing is it's kind of a slippery slope anyways.
It is.
No matter how you look at it.
You know, Pete Rose bet on his team to win. You know, when he was betting on the Reds, it was always to win.
Sure.
The problem is, as a manager, if he can make decisions that really affect the outcome of the game, and whether he was betting the over and the unders, I don't know all that kind of stuff. But, you know, it's just a really slippery slope when you start to bet the scores and bet the over-unders and bet all that kind of stuff. So it is a slippery slope. But, man, if somebody like anybody just slapped down a C note on, I'm going to bet that my team wins this Sunday, I really don't have a problem with if it's just that basic of a bet.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't have a problem with that.
But you can't do it.
But it's a slippery slope.
Yeah, it's a slippery slope.
So that's how you do it.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Now, you know that I have been, again, playing around with Chat GPT. I really am just like, I'm really taken by it. I actually asked who the greatest Utah Jazz players are of all time.
Okay. We go in like top 10?
It has 5.
5.
They didn't have top 10 players. They didn't have 10 players to choose from.
Okay.
That were greats.
All right.
I'm just kidding.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
It's AI. AI is going to believe what it wants to believe.
But there is 5. There is 5.
Okay.
And in our limited time, I think this is perfect. So,
yeah, we got a couple minutes.
Caden, start. Who do you think? Who?
Karl Malone.
Karl Malone is numero uno.
Number 2, John Stockton.
John Stockton is number 2.
Pistol Pete Maravich.
Pistol Pete comes in at number 4.
Okay. Is Adrian Dantley on there?
Adrian Dantley, AD, comes in at number 3.
Okay.
5's going to be tough. I thought you'd have a problem with AD. I'm proud of you.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's see. My first thought was Mark Eaton, but
no,
I don't think it's Mark Eaton.
Big Mark didn't make the list. Now he did make honorable mention.
Okay.
I do have some honorable mentions down here too.
Okay. I'm trying to think of what numbers are retired. Is what I'm going with.
Now,
I don't know if this guy, if number 5's been retired or not.
I don't think so.
Darren Williams?
It is Darren Williams.
Okay. Well,
number 5.
That was come on.
That was pretty. Dude,
Test
you did good.
me.
You did good. Other notable players, like I said, this is the honorable mentions, was Mark Eaton.
Mm-hmm.
Horny.
Jeff Hornacek. That was one of those, but I was like, I don't know about that.
Andre Kirilenko, AK.
I think they should retire 47, by the way. That's a conversation for another day. I want to know what other Jazz fans think, but I'd love to see 47 retired.
And one other player in honorable mention, which kind of surprising.
What, Gordon Hayward or something?
No.
Oh.
Rudy Gobert.
Oh, yeah. No, he deserves to be there.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
How many years did he play with the Jazz? 4? 5?
No, like 7.
Okay, if it's 7, how many Defensive Player of the Years did he get?
3.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Talk me into it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he's definitely on that list. So yeah, I mean, I put him on that list personally. So
it is pretty fun to, again, if you have some time to waste, and apparently I do, but Chat GPT is a lot of fun to play around with. It's just doing great player. Anything you want to ask it, it'll answer.
do you think you could do pretty well with Lakers?
I really do think I could.
There's a lot of Lakers.
There is.
And there's a lot of decent ones as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe you might do well.
I haven't.
We'll have to save that for another show.
And I will promise I won't pull that up. So if you ever wanted to do that and test me, it'll be fresh.
All right, I'll take you for your word.
Okay.